Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Just like last week, it keeps happening. I did the same intro as last week. I can't believe it. I try and change it up a little bit, and I failed. But what else is new? Welcome to another episode of the HalfGen podcast. I am joined by, as always, one of my favorite people in the world, Nat. How you doing?
I'm good, chilling, trying to, keep the hair game going strong.
Yeah, we were comparing notes a little bit before the episode, and I had the realization today. So my barber always threatens me. I've been going to the same barber since I was like 6, and he always threatens me. He says, "I will never let you do what your father did with his hair," because he also cut my dad's hair, and he was like, "I will never ever let you do that."
That being,
I'd have to show you. But basically, my dad had like this really long comb over, like it kind of grew from the back and he grew it out. So it's kind of like what I have here, but like it was real bad. And so he like grew it out to cover it up. And it was real bad. And he was like, "I'll shave you bald. I won't even ask." He's like, "I will not let you do what your father did." He is like, "That was a tragedy." And so he made fun of my dad so bad for it. When I was a kid, full head of hair, the world the world was my oyster. I didn't think anything of it. And then today I was like, I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I was like, I think I was messing around with my lights because I ended up turning off one of my bulbs to try and like reduce how bright I was while maintaining a little bit of brightness. Like I didn't want too much light on me. So I'm messing with my lights and I'm looking down and you can't see it from here, but like exactly where like a headset would normally rest on your head, it's just gone. It's just gone, dude. And I was just like, boy, I need to make a decision to either save this or get rid of it. That's going to be my 2021 is what do I do with my hair?
Not to mention any specific brand because none of them have cut a check. But I use a specific one, and it has helped me greatly. And I would say
I would never know you needed it.
This is more to the listeners. If you, I had it a little bit, but like best, is to be proactive than to be reactive.
Right.
So I would say if you do need it, most of these subscription services are the same thing, especially of the like big 3. It's like a finasteride pill, some Midoxin drops, which is just like Rogaine. This just helps you keep your hair. And I hope that didn't show what brand that was, but yeah.
I don't think it did.
And some like biotin gummies and a shampoo. And yeah, I think they help a lot. I would say, yeah, if you have $50 to waste, I think the other ones are more expensive. The one I use is the cheapest of the bunch. Yeah. I just felt like I waste $50 on a bunch of other shit. It's like, Hail Mary, do it, try it, or I'm about to have the baldy rocking, I just didn't feel like that was conducive of my path.
That's fair. I'd rather keep it if I can, at least what I have. So,
yeah,
we'll talk more off the podcast.
That was more for the listeners. I know this is I haven't seen the analytics, but I would assume we are very male heavy audience.
We have a 6% female audience.
Hey, there we go. The one listener,
the single digit percentile. God, yeah, but I was messing around with the lighting before, and that led to that tragedy. I changed some things up. I've decided to spice up my background a bit. I still need to change this area here. I kind of have like a PlayStation and a Chromebook box there because like I'm trying to rearrange stuff to make it look nicer. I've had that thing right there, that Star Trek one. That's actually like a 3D painting.
I never realized what that was. I've always seen it in the background.
It's always been over there. But like it hasn't been hung since I got it, and I realized I've had that thing for like almost like I've had that thing for like 6 years. I realized I never hung it because I never really thought of a good spot. I used to have like a stand there, and then I shifted some stuff around. So now I've got the little fridge there. So it's like 2 little Romulan warbirds and then the Enterprise shooting torpedoes and stuff. It's like a really nice like oil painting. I bought it at the Big E. Remember when you could go places?
Yeah.
When you could go to a thing like the Big E. So I did that, and that was really cool. I got that a couple years ago. I was with Zane, actually, And he was like, just buy it. And I was like, okay, you talked me into it. I also got this thing right here. For anybody familiar with Destiny, that's the Siva symbol. I got that on Etsy. Member of the Destiny community, it's_winter on Twitter was advertising their Etsy store. And I saw that and I was like, fuck it. And I bought it. And I thought that it was really cool. And now I have it. And it's cool. It's just this, kind of like what you get with a computer. You get like one of the little remotes. You can set it to one solid color or like change it. The range on the remote is not great. The remote is my only real complaint about the whole thing.
Well, not to like leak it, but I'm assuming it's just an LED module and some strips inside.
Oh yeah.
If you really have like that big of issue with it, I would just say, buy a more expensive LED strip thing on like Amazon or something and just, open it up and swap it out. It shouldn't be that hard because it really should just be some plexiglass or some like kind of like resin glass or something that's just stained or painted in a certain way that you can just open it up and like swap them out pretty easily.
Oh no, I'm sure. I don't think I'll be changing it too much, to be honest. Let me see
Not
if
just
I can get,
hacks. The only thing I've been up to is this, messing with this. You guys could see. I don't want to take the pins out again, but my hair.
There you go. Now you can see it real nice.
I can hear what you said, but yeah.
I was just gonna say now you can see it real nice.
Oh, nice. But that's been it, man. That's really been it.
Yeah.
As far as games, the only thing we should do that actually. Sidebar. Hey guys, if you do enjoy this, and I know you sat through an ad already, but this isn't an ad. This is me asking you guys a favor here, and it's to, leave us a rating. If you enjoy this show, I'm not gonna ask you to share the show. That would be great. But realistically,
I'll ask you to share the show. I will go out on that limb.
I would say realistically, I feel like personally speaking, unless you're going to go in and share a specific clip or write us a really heartfelt message or what part you was like, oh, this part is good. And, recommend people. I feel like just the random share without, talking about it at all really doesn't do much.
Fair enough.
So I would really appreciate if you guys listen on Apple or Google Podcasts or any of the podcast services that have a rating system. Like Spotify doesn't have one, but Apple Podcasts and Google does. Please leave us a rating. Please go in, say something nice. Please don't say anything bad or I will hit you with a wet flip-flop.
And for our YouTube viewers, the YouTube podcast has actually I know it's small and we haven't done a lot with our YouTube channel, but considering that we're already pulling in numbers that are not zero, I appreciate everybody who is taking the time to watch this. I know it probably seems like, oh, all they do is put a thing in, in the front and that's it. But Cypher does a lot of great work with the video stuff, making sure everything's good, making sure everything's up on time. He pretty much handles all the YouTube stuff. So credit to him, aka Tony, for longtime listeners back when he was on. But props to Cypher for all the work he does for that and getting that online for us every week. Yeah, if you guys don't mind liking and commenting, those are the things. I know I'm not going to tell you to ring the bell. If you want the podcast, it should be in your feed. I'm going to trust the algorithm for now until it doesn't work. I'm not going to ask you guys to, go ring the bell and, but if you enjoy the podcast and you want it to show up in your feed, subscribe. If you, like what we're doing, throw us a comment, throw us a like, just something so, we know that what we're doing is working.
YouTube algorithm wise, comments and likes are preferable. You probably follow us on socials. If you have to get it through there, Chris does a great job on the socials of always posting it when it goes live.
I try.
The one thing I would say is, and this is some behind the scenes magic, YouTube has a terrible thing of burying your page if somebody subscribes to your account and doesn't actually intend on watching. YouTube's algorithm, the way that it works, they bury a page based on that. And I would say, yeah. So if you really feel like you want to support a YouTuber, it might actually not be the best idea to subscribe to them if you don't actually intend on staying in for the long haul.
That's
because
fair.
They have a percentage based ratio of how much you watch. If they should bury this account for other people if you stop watching. It's actually more conducive if you really want to help somebody out to unsubscribe. So long story less long, if you want to fuck somebody over, go subscribe to their account and never watch a video.
Oh shit. Well, decide how much you like HalfGen and make your decision from there. But I do appreciate everybody listening and everybody watching.
Give you the strat to help us out, but we gave you the strat to sabotage other people. So
they can also now sabotage us. So
they could, but we ain't got much to sabotage. So
that's fair.
Waste your time.
Get
our numbers up.
I know some people who might. But no, I really do appreciate everybody who does listen every week. The people who have been watching, because I know who some of you are. I got people coming to my Twitch during the week and they're just like, yeah, I watched your episode. It was great, and I was like, oh my God, that's, I love hearing people telling me like, yeah, I listened or watched the podcast. That's one of my favorite things. Like I if I'm going to be a little bit greedy here, if you pop into my stream or, somebody decides to tweet me and it's just like, hey, I really like this week's episode. That is the ultimate motivation for next week's episode, to come out and be like, yo, I'm going to put on a good show, Mm-hmm. That for me, like, that's incredible, because we are small, we aim big, but right now we're small, and we're
looking over here because this is where you are, so it looks like I'm looking away, but I'm looking over here because you're there. I look over here is because I'm looking at Audacity.
That's how it used to be for me. I have Audacity up here, and I've learned to just trust Audacity. I used to have everything on this side because my camera used to be over here, but I would look far because this, like, way over here is where the OBS window where I'm recording this is.
Sidebar, pal. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just realized I had my headphones really up, and I keep forgetting that these pads leak a lot. So the first
I haven't heard anything.
Are probably I could see the wave is why I'm saying. I could see it leaking through. So
just send me a timestamp if you don't mind. Just like shoot me
for first 12.
First 12. Okay.
You should noticeably see it like disappear, because now I think the background noise now might be my PC fan and not the actual waveform. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, it was a bad habit when we started the video, and it's a bad habit I have sometimes when I'm streaming, because I'll look over at OBS and I'll just stare down OBS. I put my mouse in the window. I hate doing that.
I feel that.
And I would just look at that. So like I'm watching you guys talk and I'm just looking over here and I'm like, oh shit, I should be looking at the camera. And so now with, we'll go over, I want to talk about my monitor this week now that I've spent some more time with it, but the camera is dead in front of me now on the new monitor. And so I have a preview window right under it. So right now I'm looking at me talking, movie magic. It looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm really looking at me. And I like what I see. that look on your face. Jesus. That's the only problem with this podcast going video, is that it makes me laugh too much.
Why?
You're very like emotive with like your eyes and stuff, and so I see it and I just start laughing. Oh God, I'm very easy.
If you want to do something else for the visual listeners, encourage some of the view spreading, I would say somebody told me the other day that, oh, you have a lot of moles, man. That probably means that's where you got killed in past lives. And I was like, what? So for reference, I have like 8 moles on my face. Like I have like 1, 2, 3. I have another one here. I have one like over here, and I have another one on the opposite side, and I have one like right here. So by their theory, that's where I got shot or stabbed a bunch, in a past life. And I was like, that's very comforting.
I'm like,
looking for your moles.
I'm like, wait a minute, do I have moles? Like I've got like little spots. I don't think I have moles. I don't know. I've got like these you probably can't see that. You can see that a little bit.
It's
little brown spots. I've got those kind of on my arms and stuff. But nothing like little constellation of them down here. But
one, I got one here, one there, got another one over here.
This plays great on audio. All of our audio listeners are just like, come on, guys, we're still here too.
So I have one right at the cleft of my lip, right in the middle. One to the left of that, above that one, under my left nostril. Have one close, like above my lip, but far out towards the middle of my cheek. I have another one above my ear, another one on my left sideburn. I have another one on the right side of my ear, and I have one on the right side of my collarbone. So there we
Well,
go.
there you go,
That's for the
audio
audio
listeners.
listeners.
There you go.
I also shaved and realized I look like a fucking middle schooler.
You should see me when I shave. I'm terrible. I'll never shave I shaved my beard during like the 8 weeks I was out of work for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I shaved my beard because I wanted to start fresh. And I don't necessarily regret that because I think it's been a lot cleaner since I've regrown it. Because that beard I had for like 5 years or something. And it was in maintenance and it was bad because it was very uneven in areas. And so now that I've kind of, I did the fresh one, I really like how everything looks now. And it's easier to maintain, but it's like, I'll never go back. I don't think I could ever shave this again. I wouldn't want to be on camera. I look terrible
Are you
without
gonna
a beard.
plan on growing it out bigger or?
No, I the other one was big and I grew that out a lot.
Yeah.
But I actually like it better, like kind of like the way it is. Like this isn't. I wouldn't consider my beard like my beard is longer than it looks. And it's just kind of like flattened. So like I like it. I like it to look full, but not crazy. Because the thing is I have a problem where like I will get a lot of like stray hairs, and so I'll get stuff poking out the sides. And you know, I'll be there like at work and I'll be looking in the mirror and I'm like plucking out a hair because it's like I need you to go away, you know.
As somebody who had a once, you know, fuller beard, I would say a soft bristle brush with like castor oil of some sort would really do wonders and like thickening up your beard and doing double duty of also keeping your beard down without like feeling super disgusting or heavy on your face.
Yeah.
And not like getting your pores or anything.
Yeah, like I got like a nice like beard shampoo, so like I make sure to use that every once in a while. Like I don't want to go crazy because like you know, you don't want to like, you know, overwash it or anything. But like, you know, beards can be gross, especially right now with COVID. So you know, I try and keep on top of that. You know, at least like once a week, run that. But otherwise, I try and keep the beard like dry as possible. Like, don't get it wet. Don't want to have to dry it or anything.
And I'll end with this, and this has been the least games we've talked about at the top of a podcast in a while, I feel like.
I think last week.
I was gonna say
last week we went
I'm actually really impressed with the lack of acne like over here, especially. I mean, I get like some blackheads on my nose, but this isn't even acne or anything. This is just like ingrown hairs and stuff is what I get. But my skin is really cleared up, which I've been happy about. I feel like I have nice clear skin, which I'm excited about.
I think I feel like right here I had a little something.
When I first shaved, I was like, if it wasn't for the lack there of sleep and anxiety and depression in my eyes, I would have gotten ID'd everywhere.
They just know by your demeanor, like, no, this man's overworked and underpaid.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You want to tip it off with games?
Let's get right into it. I'm just gonna start with the big one. Destiny had a new expansion come out. Not new expansion. I'm sorry. A new season started this week. Season of the Chosen, which kind of came right off the rip. The daughter of Callus, the disgraced emperor or overthrown emperor, she just rolls up and she's just like, "Hey, so I'm uniting all these Red Legion people you've been fighting for the last 3 years." And, you know, the darkness, either the darkness is going to kill you or the hive are going to kill you, but one of them's going to kill you. And she's like, so I propose an alliance. And she's like, with your light and my cabal, we'll destroy them all. And she's like, and then she just looks at Zavala and she's just like, bow. She literally says bow. And Zavala just kind of, you know, Lance Reddick just kind of says, no. And so it's war now. So the first thing it does is it drops you into the new seasonal activity, which is called Battlegrounds. So the first thing you do is you matchmake into this battleground and it drops you in. And the first thing you see is this huge Cabal fleet over Nessus. And they just start dropping troops, dude. Like they're sending dozens of guys at you. And so you're just fighting up this hill, learning the mechanics as you go. And it's just like, oh, you gotta, Guardian, you gotta do this thing. And, you're fighting these dudes. They're dropping like these charges. You gotta get them to unlock this thing. And then you progress, you get to this next area. And it's like, you gotta destroy these generators. And the whole time they're just dropping dudes and dropping dudes and dropping dudes. It's hectic. It's crazy. And it was maybe the most fun I've had in Destiny in a long time. Like, so far, I'm more impressed with this season than I was the beginning of, day one of Beyond Light was exciting. I'm way more excited about this season so far than I was about Beyond Light. Because the first couple of things I've done have all just been really, really cool and like really different from what I expect from the seasonal model. They have mostly kind of underwhelmed with what they've done with seasons in the past. And this one just hits you over the head right off the rip. I got a great gun. My first drop of the whole season was a great roll on a gun archetype I like. I've been finding all these crazy guns. The season pass is
rifle or whatever.
No, actually, it's that's the seasonal exotic. There's gonna be a quest for that later, and that looks really cool. No, I got an SMG, which is in an archetype. It's a 750 RPM, which I'm not usually crazy about SMGs lower than 900, like really fast firing. So there's 600, 750, and 900. I like 900s. That's my favorite. Not usually crazy about the slower SMGs. I want my SMG to hit hard and fast. This one I love. I got a great roll on it. It feels really good. I just got a rocket launcher that I'm really excited to use with a bunch of new perks. They redid like a bunch of they buffed a bunch of weapons that had been underused and stuff. Like rocket launchers are really good right now. Everyone in the game is using rocket launchers because they got a big buff. Like legendary rocket launchers got a 30% damage buff. Everyone is using them. And they've got these mechanics from an older season called Charge with Light, and you can use that to like up your damage and your reload and stuff. So like there's a bunch of crazy builds you can do with rocket launchers. But like they added this whole new like war table thing called the Helm, and like you go in there and you can access like the battleground missions and stuff. But the overall plot is Keitel, who is the Empress. She's going to all these Red Legion guys and she's like, hey, I'm forming my war council based on the ancient rights. You guys are going to fight each other for the right to be on my war council. And then so Osiris is just like, hey, you now have this thing. You picked up this thing from this cabal. This lets you challenge for the right to get on the war table, basically. So he's like, just go start killing Cabal. Like, go kill their leadership. Every time someone tries to challenge for the war table, meet them in battle and kill them. So that's basically what we're doing is every time, one of them is like, hey, I'm cool, I'll join the war council. We're just like, no. And we just go and fight them. And these battlegrounds are like a ton of fun. They're really exciting and like really like, there's an energy to them, and when you're running them, like they feel really good to play, and they're very well thought out in their design, that they're not like, they don't demand too much mechanically, but they also require you to kind of just stay engaged with the moment-to-moment gameplay. And the really cool thing is if you mess something up, like if you throw a bomb and you miss your target, instead of like dropping another boss and you have to fight another boss, they just drop like one more little weak enemy and it'll drop the bomb again. So you're not wasting your time like, okay, I have to fight this boss again, and if I mess it up again, then I got to do it again. It just keep dropping this one little weak dude and you just keep killing him and you do it as many times as you need to. So it's like very forgiving if it's like, hey, that one didn't work out, just do it again. Which again has kind of been a thing that they've been not so good at with these seasonal activities in terms of being forgiving when mistakes are made. The rewards have been great. Like the loot pool is incredible. There's a lot of great new guns this season. I can't wait for trials this weekend. They got a whole bunch of new stuff there. Like I'm really excited, and I'm having fun with this game in a way I did not even with Beyond Light. I am really excited. I don't want to get too too crazy. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this is the best season ever. Like it's day one-ish still. So it's like, I don't want to sing its praises too much, but like, honest to God, I haven't been this impressed by day one of a season since Forsaken came out. and that was 2 years ago. That was
I don't have a point of
2018.
reference, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, this is the most exciting thing to happen since they saved Destiny 2.
Okay.
This might do for the seasonal model what Forsaken did for the game. And if they can keep this, like, if they can keep this pace that they have this week, if they can keep anything close to this throughout the rest of the season, it's gonna be a hell of a fucking season. Like I'm after this, once I'm done editing the podcast, I plan to play Destiny again, unless you want to do something else. But I plan to hop back in and start running some stuff again. Real excited. What have you been playing, my friend?
Only Divinity.
Only
And
Divinity.
I played a bit of Going Under again, but Divinity, Original Sin 2, with my good pals.
Who are
Chris,
they?
Cypher, and Ross. One missing member of the podcast, Ross, also playing with us, and our good pal and editor, Cypher, aka Tony.
We are really getting into a good groove with that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing we need to remember, like, our only issue, and I feel like I say this is just like we have people who just like, and it's all of us do it. I've done it a couple times now. Cypher does it, Ross does it. You do it once or twice. It's just somebody runs ahead and then triggers something, and then like we're scrambling to put it back together. So we've got our backs against the wall, and then we fight it back. But we finally found something yesterday that was like, it put our backs against the wall and it just continued to push us into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And like the thing is once we went in with a plan and we had that strategy, it was some necro dog. Once we went back in and we had the plan and we executed it pretty much to perfection. And that like felt great because like we went from like getting absolutely wiped, like completely losing the battle, to winning it in about a turn.
Yeah, I super buffed. I don't want to say triple. I think I triple. I don't want to say buffed, but status affected, and then one tap the dog.
Yeah, he
because all
messed
of
the
them weren't
dog
a
up.
buff. One was
I know,
a teleport. One was a
but you
calm
buffed your
mind,
positioning.
and then
That's a positional buff.
Well, I did think I did teleport the last turn because I didn't have much, and then I think in the next turn, calm mind, adrenaline, enrage, and then barrage, and it was like, bye bye necro doggy.
Yeah, I think
it was three shots, and I think I think I did like 400 damage to it in one.
Well, yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
When all was said and done, yeah, you had done like 400 damage to it. You took all of it. Like, we were just kind of whittling it down for you, because the thing is Mike, my burst is not what yours is, because I don't have like the damage potential that you do yet, and I would love to.
You need to get.
I need to get more crit. That's what I need.
Get a point in polymorph. Get the cloak thing, so you could synergize with your cloak and dagger, and then there's a skill for you, because there's one for me where you do more damage while cloaked. And if you take that perk, yeah, it's a multiplier. So
we need to find that skill, and then we can go from there.
I have the skill. Cypher has it as well. It's just a cloak skill, but you need a point in polymorph to get it.
Yeah, I know, but I need the book.
Yeah, the book has been literally in every like store that sells polymorph skills, so it shouldn't be a hard find.
Wait, Cypher has it? I haven't seen him use it. Are you sure he has it?
He got something else, actually. He wants it as well.
Well, I get it first. No, I get it first.
I mean, Cypher's editing it, unless he's listening to all the little conversations.
He's not listening to he's skimming through.
Yeah, so
I'm getting it first. I am the sneaky boy. Yeah, no, if I can get that, that'd be great. And then
I would say make sure. I wouldn't say you need it right away, but as soon as you get whatever the perk is that lets you do more damage while hidden, yeah. Because especially if it's stacked with you, because I think it synergizes with if they don't see you and you get a backstab. So
yeah, and then being able to maintain the cloak while using like cloak and dagger would be huge. Yeah,
It's
like
just annoying that I thought it was a stealth skill or whatever, the scoundrel skill. So I put points in the scoundrel, which is why I wanted to respec again before we left the boat because I
oh,
went and
because you
got
realized it
that
was polymorph.
and it was polymorph and I couldn't use it.
Okay.
So yeah,
And I only need 1 point in polymorph?
only 1 point in polymorph. I would say equip an armor if we can find one with polymorph. That'll probably be better instead of trying to go get the point because we should finding one with polymorph shouldn't be that hard.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, if I gotta put a point into it, it's no big deal.
I mean,
Um,
especially at the rate we've been leveling up. We leveled up like 6 or 7 times yesterday. Like it was like stupid.
I don't think it was quite that much, but we leveled
We
up, I
leveled
think,
up
at least 3
twice
or
getting
4.
off the boat.
Yeah, I think at least 3 or 4
Leveled up.
times.
No, we leveled up once right in the mansion fighting the spider. We leveled up fighting all those stupid bugs in the town.
Did we level up
So
on the oh my god.
yeah, and
So
then
we leveled up 5 times or
we
something.
leveled up another time in the astral plane because remember we left and it was like holy shit, that was a lot of XP. We leveled up, I don't want to say
Well,
six,
that was part
it
of
was
the boat.
definitely like 5 times we
At least,
leveled up.
yeah, it sounds like at least 5 times. Yeah, and like we're starting to feel strong. Like I'm
Mhm.
starting to feel like I can take a couple fights that I couldn't take before. Like
Yeah,
we fought that
I just want
spider. That
every
spider was
city.
like what, 5 levels above us, and we kicked its
Yeah,
ass.
I'm just very weak. I am like I could get like one tapped by a lot of things.
That
So
yeah.
I'm
So we gotta just protect you.
yeah, but damage output through the through the
When
roof.
that wants someone dead, that will
To the
make them
moon.
dead.
To the moon.
But yeah, we
Um,
just like that's the thing. Like when we plan it out and we go in with a strategy and we've got it figured out, like we absolutely kill it, man. Like
yeah,
we're like I'm real happy with how we're playing right now. Like we've finally all gotten to the point where like everybody's kind of doing the right thing for everybody. I'm real happy. I look forward every week to playing more Divinity.
same. I would say sidebar. Have you seen any of the footage from Baldur's Gate? They just added like the cutscenes and stuff, and it's like some like Mass Effect level like cutscenes with minus the ass close ups.
Well, they're fixing that.
I mean, well, they took that out too. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't technically mind the ass close ups. They spent obviously lots of hours crafting her ass to look picture perfect.
Yeah, but it's
And I was joking.
when I know, but it's like they're right though, because they're like they're right, and at the time, and knowing their demographic,
Mhm,
unfortunately, they probably made the right choice back then. But like when you look at it now in 2021, that was 11 years ago.
mhm.
You look at it now, in the modern day, and it's like, yeah, you know what? It probably makes more sense to, change that because, yeah, why would you zoom in on her ass when she's talking about trying to save her sister? You know, and it's like, you know what,
I just
Bioware,
laugh
you're
because
right.
it's just funny. Um,
It's funny because it's sad that like
mhm,
it's come down to that, and like I think the craziest part is like there's two like small but vocal camps, and there's the small vocal camp that's like,
ass remove
I'm
the
not gonna play this game because you're changing it. Like, you guys are complaining about an ass. You literally kill thousands of aliens. Nobody's talking about all the killing, just that ass, you know? And it's just like, dude, get over yourself. Like, get over yourself. One, you're not as cool as you think you are standing up for it. And two, you're being very, very depressing. Like
mhm.
you are not doing yourself any favors. You're not on the right side of history. And then there's the other camp that's like, oh wow, now that they fixed this, I might actually play this game. And it's just like, so you're telling me I saw that in a comment on Twitter, and then somebody replied to them and they were like, so you're telling me you didn't play one of the greatest trilogies of all time because there was one shot of a character's ass.
I mean,
That's the hill you died on.
they didn't pull a what you call it and nerf the ass. I can't remember. Was it a game or was it a show? I can't remember. I think it was a game where they nerfed the character's ass and people were mad.
Final Fantasy
Like
14.
I don't think it was Final Fantasy
Final
14.
Fantasy 14 had that.
They might have had it as well, but that's not the instance I'm thinking of where they actually nerfed
I don't
somebody's
know if I
ass.
want that in my search history. Hold on, let me pull up an
I
incognito
can't
window.
remember what it is, but yeah, they're upset. This is very similar to people are mad at She-Hulk's new design, which is more in line with the like Hulk's design, not ultra sexy looking. And yeah, there were some people very butthurt about it, and it was just like, she can still look feminine while not being like, super pin-up model-y, you know what I mean? And this also, they're not
You
saying
talking
there's
about
not,
Widowmaker or Tracer?
huh?
Are you talking about Widowmaker or Tracer? Was it
I
Overwatch?
can't remember, but they definitely nerfed somebody's ass in a game, and I seen it trending on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But it was definitely a game I didn't play where I was like, okay, I don't really care.
Yeah, there are some talks of nerfing booties, but that's not. Oh God, is that the title?
I mean, I didn't say it. You
I
said it.
don't know if that.
You got to make it nerfed ass.
No, I'm gonna make it. There's talk of nerfing booties.
But yeah, I would say that's really it on my end. Oh, have I done anything else? Yeah, I don't think anything else really.
Yeah, I think primarily, yeah, Divinity, Destiny. Just double checking if I played anything else really this week. I dabbled in a little bit of Risk of Rain 2, a little bit of Insurgency, played a little bit of the new season of Apex. I actually played a little bit of Wolfenstein Youngblood now that like works.
With Will?
Yeah, with Will. And yeah, we played like a couple levels of it. We were like, wow, this game runs really well now. And then I was like, I'm good. And he was like, you want to never play this again? And I was like, yeah, let's never play this again.
Sheesh.
It's totally fine. And, they've definitely come around and kind of fixed that game in a way that it feels a lot better. But not in a way that like there's nothing there to keep coming back to.
Stuff around too much. But I definitely want to remember to put these fucking leather ear muffs back in. Not ear muffs, headphone pads, because I don't take these out the house as much anymore because I've been using my AirPod Pros because they're good enough. The noise cancellation on them are good enough where I don't need something super over the ear. But I keep forgetting to put these back on because these are only on for the winter because they're like a velvety, because the leather just cracks in the winter out here because it gets so cold. So
see, I don't know how you have like, and I'm not saying this with shade. I just don't get how those headphones have so much bleed because like mine are literally open back and I don't have that problem.
Well, so the thing is, your open back, there's not things driving through the back of them. Also, I have hair and other stuff that they're not like complete. There's not a complete seal.
All right, that's fair.
And this is not like, so it's not a cloth. It's just a velvet like cloth. So it's not
that's what these are.
So it's not doing a seal on it, as where these are leather and it creates more of a seal on everything. So I found one of them. Worst case scenario, I ordered another pair, but I don't know where the other one is. And ideally, they should have been in a bag, but clearly that one isn't. So what the fuck?
Well, while Nat searches for ear pads, I want to talk about this ultra wide. I mentioned it last week. I mentioned it a little bit at the top. I got the ultra wide. I got the Dell. Hold on, or not Dell. Alienware. Hold on. The Alienware 3420 DW. Nice. So now you got both. Look at that. He's got them, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. But yeah, the Alienware 3420 DW, which is
funny just there, pal.
What?
You said alien, pretty funny just there.
Alien.
You said alien. You said it like kind of weird, and I was like, oh, that was cute.
No, I said alien.
So good.
I'm pretty sure I said it normal.
When you listen to the recording,
I might have to go back and remember 39 minutes. But yeah, 34-inch ultra wide, 3440 by 1440, 120 hertz nano IPS. This thing is incredible, and I'm very lucky that every game I've tried to play on it so far, which
How?
granted is not my full library,
Mhm.
but every game I have gone out of my way, including Wolfenstein, including Apex, Destiny. What the hell else have I played on it? Well, no, StarCraft 2 doesn't work. I did play that on it. StarCraft 2 doesn't work. Risk of Rain 2 works. Insurgency works. Divinity, I don't know if I said that already. That works. Native 1440.
Mhm.
And Hitman works. Native 1440. It's I'll tell you, like ultra wide. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like it's the end all be all and you need to rush out and get it. But if you're deciding right now between 4K and ultra wide, I would say ultra wide 1440. You're pushing a similar amount of pixels with the size of the display. You're not gonna notice. But honestly, you're getting more. I feel like for your money because when you're condensing all those pixels in like a 27-inch display, yeah, it looks really sharp, but like so does 1440p, and you can get a much higher refresh rate on 1440p. With
I feel
this,
personally attacked.
you have a 4K. Well, yeah, but you
Literally
also
a
do.
27-inch
But you
4K
do.
monitor.
But you do photo and video editing. You have a purpose for it.
No, I'm just joking.
I will say this covers over 120% of the sRGB gamut, but yeah. No, but I'm talking in terms of games. Realistically, if you have the space for it, you're going to get more out of an ultra wide because in the games where it doesn't work, yeah, you're just going to have a 27-inch 1440p display in the middle. But in the games where it works, the first time you see it, it's kind of incredible. And like this particular one is curved. And so like I'm seeing
How much
like
did this run you, pal? I've
this was
been
a
trying to.
this was about $1,000. Look on his face. Nat is giving me the eyes. I don't. Okay.
I was to get that out of here.
Okay.
I've been in stores and I'm like, hey, so how much is this? And they'll be like, oh, $2,000. Just walk away.
No, it's about $1,000. There was another one. There's a 38-inch model. It's brand new. It's G-Sync Ultimate. They also have a 27-inch version. I almost got that one for around the same price as this, but I wanted to go ultra wide. There's a 38-inch ultra wide. It's a 1600p, and I couldn't justify it's a 30. Yeah, it said 38-inch. I couldn't justify it because it was an extra $400, which isn't the end of the world. But the big thing was the performance I was going to lose going to 1600p. Like right now, I still run games, right around that 120 still. So for the most part, it's G-Sync compatible. The other reason I wanted that one was just because it was G-Sync Ultimate, which is really nice. For those who don't know, G-Sync Ultimate means like it's got quality HDR. I think it was like HDR 600 for the 38-inch. It's got like good brightness. It's got full array lighting, or excuse me, full array backlighting. It had it has the built-in G-Sync module instead of just the compatibility. Like it looked incredible. It was, I think, 165 hertz refresh rate. It was nuts. And I was like, I'm not gonna run games that high on it. And so I got this one just to kind of be a little more reasonable. And I love it. It was worth every penny. And I had got an arm for my other 1440p monitor, so I got that sitting next to me because I'm not going to replace a perfectly good monitor. I love this LG. Like, this is still an incredible monitor. And if I ever want to use it for anything, I can. But this thing, I'm telling you, if you can, and don't skimp on it. Don't just get like any old. Don't go to Best Buy and buy the $250 ultra wide display. It's not the same thing. I would suggest curved. They do offer them flat. My preference is always curved. And I think the curve really like does good work. The curve really does good work on the ultra. Why he's giving me the eyes again, and they're different eyes, and I'm uncomfortable.
You said it 2 times, and
Yeah,
I was
I
letting
know.
you rock. You said the curve really does good work. If you got to go
Curve really
curve, and
does
I
good
was like,
work. Is that the other option for the title?
that's what they said.
All right, I added that. We'll figure that out after. I think, did I lose Nat? I think we lost Nat. Hello, friends. You were just witness to some technical difficulties. Nat's computer decided to just kill everything that was running anything related to the podcast. Did everything
Literally
it could to keep
everything
us
else
down.
worked. Steam was still working. My browser was still working. Just Audacity froze and Discord. And I was like, what the fuck? So,
But we're back. And, Cypher's going to have a little extra work this week, and I love him for it. Thank you, Cypher, for the extra work that you put in to make this work. But, yeah, so speaking of doing the work, the curve does it. Is where we left off before. Be careful. That was the look that broke it.
no, that was the look. It was. No, it wasn't even that. It was. I did something. I can't remember what I did, but I was like.
I think that was closer.
And then I froze
and
while
then you
moving
froze.
over.
Oh God. But yeah, I love this monitor. It's fantastic. I know Alienware has a reputation of being overpriced, and for the most part, they kind of are. But sometimes you get what you pay for from Alienware, and this is definitely a scenario. Like I'm a sucker for the RGB. It's got all the colored lights and stuff because I'm stupid, and I'm impressed by changing colored lights. But yeah, this monitor is fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody who, if budget is not an issue, wants a really good ultra wide 3420. Really excellent display. And that was really all I had to say about that. I've been really, I've kind of adjusted to playing games on it, so I don't get, you don't quite get that wow factor every time you use it, but every time you boot up a game the first time and it works, it's a great feeling,
Mm.
So I guess I feel like I've lost. I feel like your computer killed the momentum. I don't not that we had it, but it sabotaged the whole show because we had a groove going, and I don't remember where I was going to go next. We talked through the games. I guess you want to talk about some news. It's actually been kind of a busy week.
Yo, gotta talk about the news.
So, first up, Final Fantasy XIV is getting a new expansion coming out in 2021. Endwalker is the new expansion, and it will apparently be the conclusion of the original Final Fantasy XIV story. So, the story that's been going since A Realm Reborn and stuff like that. This will be the finale of that story, which sounds really exciting. And part of it will also take place on the moon.
To the moon!
To the moon! Literally what this Polygon article says, to the moon. There's a really nuts trailer.
Peter Dinklage.
There's a new... There's a new Sage
I know I
class.
said his name wrong, but that's funny. Come on, you gotta give me credit for the Destiny reference.
Oh, you were making I thought you were making some other reference. He doesn't say. When does he say to the moon?
When he was no, I'm not saying to the moon, but he always talked about the moon when he was the thing. When he was the.
It's a wizard. It came from the moon. Delivered, and I'm not here to tell Peter Dinklage how to act. He's a fantastic actor on TV. He's just and in film. He's just not great as Ghost. There's a new Sage class, which is crazy. They've got these floating little things that go around and cast shields on people and stuff. They're a DPS healer. Or not a DPS healer. I'm sorry. They're a healer, but it looks like they have DPS abilities maybe. They look really cool. This is the first time I've been interested in maybe being a healer in Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, I just saw something on the side of this article that I never want to see again. Rebecca Black's Friday 10th anniversary remix will carry you through the rest of the week.
Yeah, I actually think Rebecca Black makes not bad music. No, it's not Rebecca Black. Actually, I think she kind of got fucked with that whole situation, and she it was interesting. Funny enough, Yonkers also came out 10 years ago today. Yonkers by Tyler the Creator, which is the intro to that whole world for a lot of people. Intro to like Tyler the Creator, Frank Ocean, and a bunch of other people's really favorite artists like Earl Sweatshirt and a lot of people's lives were
Yeah,
introduced 10 years ago today, which I think is pretty cool.
that's crazy. Um, yeah. So, also just for what it's worth, they did also announce there will be a PlayStation 5 version of Final Fantasy 14. Apparently, that is starting a beta on April 13th.
Mhm.
So that's not unexpected, but is definitely really nice. They're going to support resolutions up to 4K, faster loading times, and just general like quality of life. It should just run better than it did on the PS4, just like the PS4 ran better than the PS3. Um, it sounds really excited, and it sounds really exciting, and it got me to boot up Final Fantasy 14 again because I still need to get caught up, and I want to be caught up by the time this expansion comes out. Is kind of where I'm at.
Mhm.
In less exciting news, WB Games has successfully patented the Nemesis system from their Mordor games, which means that they have made it very difficult, not impossible, but more difficult for other people to implement that system in their games, which probably explains why nobody's done anything with it other than WB. And it's also an explanation for why it's such a shame, because they're the only ones doing anything with it. And that feels like a mechanic that would be very exciting in a lot of games, you know?
Imagine that game, that mechanic in like Cyberpunk or something.
Imagine it in Destiny. Imagine it in Divinity. Beat up some
Divinity,
dude.
that'd be really cool.
Beat up some
Destiny,
dude, and then just like, like a couple hours later, next session, he just shows up. You remember that time? Well, I brought friends.
Divinity seemed really cool because there's cutscenes and stuff. And did I mention the Baldur's Gate like cutscenes they were adding, which I thought were
Yes.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I want to play Baldur's Gate. I'm really excited to play that. More than I was, I'll be honest.
Mhm.
I wasn't as like excited, but the more we play Divinity, the more excited I am to get into that. Yeah, I think it's a shame because it's like, I know this isn't the same overall concept, but like imagine if somebody tried to patent the double jump,
Mhm.
and it's like, here's this really cool creative idea, and then it's just like, let's lock it away from the rest of the gaming world. So nobody else can do anything with it. Nobody else can innovate with it. They have to go out of their way to make something completely different, or just don't bother,
I would say, remember when everybody had terrible D pads because Nintendo had the patent on D pads forever?
You like you
Okay.
shouldn't be able to patent like an in-game mechanic. Like, I don't know, it just seems weird.
Well,
It's
I don't think this is as finite because it's code at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So
but still,
unless they got
it's
a patent through that was just very broad.
all patents are very broad. That's the
Mm.
issue. Patents are inherently an issue because you can very broadly say, I made this patent for a system that, when the bad guys die, they actually come back and they remember you. And then it's just like, if somebody does something, so you can be like, that sounds like my patent.
Mhm.
And then regardless of if it is, you're still spending court time, cost, and then it's like, well, is it worth it?
Litigation. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you.
That's the part that's sad because I feel like there are other developers. No disrespect to Monolith, they've done a great job with it, but I definitely think there are other developers who could bring a unique spin to that.
I feel you. My hair's slowly just gonna sit like this and then rise up because it doesn't want to lay, man. Which is why I had those pins in, but it's just like, nope.
Rise, jam a salmon. Wait, Humble Bundle had a thing, and I needed to see if Pajama Sam was on Switch. Because it showed a Switch. No, okay, they're just selling. I already own that for PC. Never mind. I was like, is Pajama Sam on Switch? Wait, no shit. This game is 100% positive on. Huh. That's really cool. You ever played Pajama Sam?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that is, pal.
It's like one of those like point and click adventure games for kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's this kid, and he was just like the first one. He was afraid of the dark in his closet, and so he goes into his closet, and there's like this dark world, and he has to beat the darkness. And then like the sequel was Thunder and Lightning Aren't So Frightening, and so he goes up to the sky and he meets Thunder and Lightning, and they're like weather people, and he's like trying to change the weather so he isn't afraid. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's like, you ever heard of Putt Putt? Putt Putt's the same thing but a car. Same concept. They're really fun. They hold up shockingly well too, because it's just a simple point and click, adventure game. What isn't simple is E3. So E3 is pushing forward with a plan for a digital event in 2021. After last year's event was canceled. Some might say luckily, based on information leaking from E3 and the goings on there. So they're trying to push for a digital event this summer, but they're still actually waiting for the backing of companies. So right now, it doesn't sound like they have anything lined up. They're trying to put the show together, but they don't have anything to show. Whereas like last year, there was no E3 because it got canceled. So everything was like an E3 window. And it was just like, hey, we'll show stuff in May and June and July and August. And it stretched out multiple months. And that's when Sony finally showed us the PS5, and Microsoft showed us, the Series S and stuff like that. So we finally got those glimpses of those consoles. But it wasn't all concentrated in that, week of E3. So the ESA wants to recapture that. They want to recapture that week, that media attention for that week. But the question is anybody going to do it? You look at the PlayStation 5 reveal was the biggest, I think, virtual event ever for like games. If I remember correctly, at least at the time. I don't know if that's changed since then, but at the time that was like the most watched video game reveal ever, like live streamed event. So, I mean, that means it's bigger than E3, So these publishers have finally realized, and this was always, I think, the fear of the ESA, is the publishers realize that they can get people's attention whenever they want. They don't have to go and support this event for a week when they could just tweet out and be like, we're going to show this thing on the 12th, be there at 9 a.m. And guess what? Everybody's going to be there at 9 a.m. because they want the news. You don't need to pay the ESA to have a big stage or whatever to do it, You don't need to rent out a theater to show people what the next Halo looks like. You can just live stream it. So it'll be really interesting. Summer Game Fest, that's what it was last year. And the thing is Jeff Keighley's probably out there like, no. Like, no disrespect to E3, but Summer Game Fest was great last year. Let's make a better one this year. Come on back, Let me figure out when I don't need anything from you. I just want to help you guys get in like an order so everybody knows what's going on and win. Like Jeff Keighley became the organizer who I don't think he asked for money or anything. He just kind of organized and was just like, hey, here's a schedule of when to expect all these things so nobody's stepping on each other.
Yeah.
And I think that worked, and that was much better because Microsoft was on board, Sony was on board. I think Nintendo played along a little bit.
Jeff Keighley has like the reputation and everything, like in relationships with everyone already, so it was just a seamless transition.
He also arguably owns the biggest event in the States now with the Game Awards.
Yeah.
That's probably bigger than E3 at this point. The man puts on a good show, So here's the proposal for 2021 from multiple sources. This is all from Video Game Chronicle. So they were working under the assumption the physical event would not take place this year. According to the ESA's E3 2021 proposal, a typical show day would see its live broadcast schedule run from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, with regional replays scheduled around Europe, China, and the Middle East. An example schedule sent to publishers looks similar to a typical day of past E3 events. It kicks off with a 30-minute pre-show run by a media partner, followed by a 2-hour exclusive press conference by a console platform holder, followed by a Q&A panel reaction. The rest of the day would be comprised of third-party publisher presentations of differing length. With that day concluding with a wrap-up and teaser of the following one. The ESA's notes also mentioned a charitable after-party stream. So
they're going after Extra Life.
I mean, maybe not, but
No, I'm just joking.
So this was all speculation at the time, and then the official E3 Twitter. This was Monday the 8th that this came out. This is a tweet from them. Monday's off to an exciting start, huh? We've been hard at work on this year's event and can't wait to provide the full picture of E3 2021 experience. Keep an eye here for more big news from us soon. Until then, we'll be back under the box. So basically, after all this stuff leaked about what they plan to do, I think they wisely tried to retake control of the narrative. And then they said, thanks for the love on the news yesterday. It's been great to see so many of you excited for what's coming this year. By the way, my boss has requested I clarify that this was not because they used a GIF of going back under the box. And so this was not a Metal Gear announcement. So please save your speculation for my Half-Life gift next week. Okay, that's a little fun. I like that E3, whoever's running that, I like that they're having a little fun with that.
They clearly know the demo, which is good, because I feel like a lot of times the press people don't know who they're supposed to be speaking to.
Yeah, so that's a nice little bit of a human element there. All right, I'm going to try and organize these last couple pieces by importance. So let's tackle this one real quick. Tencent, everybody's favorite Chinese conglomerate trying to take over the world, just bought a piece of Bohemia Interactive, makers of Arma.
Mm-hmm.
So Bohemia does stress they will continue to operate independently. And wow, this PC Gamer article is highly incorrect, I think. This Bohemia doesn't develop DayZ, right?
They do.
They do? I thought that was someone else who developed the standalone DayZ.
A guy who was doing a mod, and they brought him on to make a standalone.
Oh. I'm sorry, I doubted you, PC Gamer. I thought that DayZ had a different developer.
I am 90% sure about that. I mean, we could fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that was
I'm checking real quick just for ha-has, because I didn't think that was the case. It is Bohemia Interactive. You are 100% correct, my friend. I should have trusted you from the beginning, and I apologize. I genuinely didn't know it was them making it. I thought it was somebody else, and they just built their own engine.
Remember,
that's crazy.
DayZ was built on Arma, and they was like, hey, why don't you just come make an official DayZ game, and we'll give you some money and complete access to the engine. And he said, wow, that's great. And then DayZ.
Yeah, so it looks like, according, again, to the article, that this is an extension of Tencent's existing partnership with Bohemia. Last year, Bohemia denied that Tencent had acquired a majority stake in the developer. And then they said that this was a strategic cooperation. This is the quote from the CEO. We are pleased to deepen our relationship with Tencent, one of the most significant internet companies in the world. We look forward to working on our current and future generations of games with the support of a strong partner that has known us for many years and understands our unique approach to online games. And
I really wish I could just take a seat in Tencent's office and be like, what's the long game here?
I mean, the long game is they want to own the biggest chunk of the video game market that they can. Yeah. And Tencent is already dominant in China, because China will not let a non-Chinese company compete in China.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, all these companies like Nintendo partnered with Tencent to get the Switch distributed, if I'm remembering correctly. And I know for like game distribution, like Tencent distributes PUBG in China. And, they do all that stuff.
They
Tencent
bought a
distributes.
majority stake in Bluehole.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like that's part of it is because they wanted the piece of that pie. And then China was also their biggest market. So that was the best way to keep the penetration there was to, have them take control. So a lot of major video game players, because Tencent, I think they own Wii Game if I remember correctly. Tencent is probably the biggest player in China in terms of video games in the overall market. They're probably the Electronic Arts, of the industry over there in terms of like we're huge and we release a lot of games every year, Maybe they do business better than Electronic Arts. We'll see. But the whole thing is now the U.S. is the second largest market, and so if they want to make the most money, they've got to get the most out of this market. Mm-hmm. And we're also a lot friendlier in terms of how we do business. I don't want to listen. Stuff is complicated, and when it comes up with the stuff with China, it's complicated because China runs their country very differently than the United States runs its country. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything we do is perfect. It's far from it, and the world knows it. But when it comes to video games, we don't have the censorship. The United States will let Tencent buy a company, because that's just business. That's how the capitalist society works. And, they're not going to be like, hey, I know the previous office had their issues with stuff like TikTok and things like that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you're not going to see much resistance. If they're coming in and they're like, hey, we want to spend X billions of dollars to buy this company, they're going to give it a fair shot. Whereas like, if EA is like, hey, we want to release our game in China, they're like, well, you better call Tencent because we're not going to let you do it, Mm-hmm. It's a very different market. So Tencent can get into this market and they can have a lot more freedom with how they distribute their games in this market. And then that also makes it easier to get to Europe and these other countries where gaming is also growing or already established as a huge market. So it makes sense, whereas all these American companies are trying to figure out how to get into China. Mm-hmm. Tencent already figured out how to get into America, and they're just spending money to do it because that's how you do it here. You just spend money and you get what you want. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound good when you say it out loud.
I mean, debatable. According to a lot of people, it's not good. So
yeah. So on the topic of things that aren't good, CD Projekt Red just keeps swirling in that bowl. Mm-hmm. CD Projekt Red was hacked, and I say that I know I'm smiling. This isn't funny. It's so unbelievable that the Cyberpunk dev got hacked.
Mm-hmm. Like, they got the ransom note.
Of course they would. It's just too perfect. And again, there's nothing good about this. I wish nothing but the best for these people. For most of these people, management is their own thing, but like nobody deserves to go through this, to have like a ransomware hack. Here's the statement from CD Projekt Red. Yesterday, we discovered that we have become a victim of a targeted cyber attack, due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. Forgive me if I'm reading slow. I don't want to maximize this window because then I'll be very bright.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to move this over here so I can read it better. Today we discuss, I already read that, an unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note, the content of which we released to the public. Though some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We have already secured our IT infrastructure and began restoring the data. We will not give in to the demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this is being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of compromised data. We are taking I don't know why I can't read today. We are taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. I think I just have a hard time reading like press release talk. I don't know. This stuff never feels good to say out loud. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Press releases feel like they were never meant to be read, like vocalized.
Yeah.
We're still investigating the incident. However, at this time, we can confirm that, to the best of our knowledge, the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our services. We've already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the president of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists, and we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. Are you ready for the ransom note?
Yeah, you got pwned.
You didn't just get pwned. You have been, okay, hold on. Hello, CD Projekt Red, all exclamations in front of it. You have been, all caps, epically pwned. Epically was all caps. We have dumped full copies of the source codes from your Perforce servers for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3, 3 exclamation points. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will... Nobody in gaming journalism is going to touch this. No respectable outlet is going to touch this, knowing this. And I think that's why CD Projekt Red did what they did, because now this becomes a credibility thing, and you don't want to be the journalism contact who runs this story. You know what I mean? I would not want to be the person who runs this story of like, here's all that leaked information, and then all of a sudden you're the contact of the hacker. I would not want that to be me. So any respectable journalist, I don't think anyone's touching this. I mean, maybe a Jason Schreier, just because like he can get away with it because he has that insider stuff, so he could probably be like, hey, here's what I already know, but I got this extra information from it. But I think he wouldn't want to touch this. It's dirty, you know? Your public image will go down the shitter even more. And I was told, I read something online that says because they said the shitter, that proved that they were, I think, English, like UK. Will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us. There was one little fun article that I read on Hard Drive. What's the word? Satire. And they said that CD Projekt Red requested a 3-week delay on the ransom. They were like, despite the fact that we told you we were ready, we just need 3 weeks to just make sure that we have everything ready to go. It was a really bad joke, relating to the 21-day delay that did seemingly nothing for Cyberpunk. It was a really bad joke, but I did chuckle a little bit. It was the right thing at the worst time, you know? Mm-hmm. This thing is a nightmare. And they're going to leak that info. They have to. I have heard rumors that they're trying to sell it for upwards of $1 million. So somebody is going to try and get it somehow. It's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. And it's really bad that this is happening to them right now because, like, I don't know how much more bad publicity CD Projekt Red can really handle right now.
I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I don't think this really affects anything outside of modding and if people are like the CD Project Red engine code, that dynamic where people are gonna steal it. You know what I mean? I feel like anybody.
Also, here's the thing though.
Mhm.
Source code is the blueprint for the game.
Yeah, no.
If you have the source code, all you need to do, if you've gotten that far, you could, in theory, with that source code, develop something to run in that game, right? Yeah. And if you can find a way to distribute that via mods and things like that, you can install crazy malware. Like, not that you can't do that already, but that makes it that much easier to run dangerous code in the software. So that exposes this whole community. Here's this, and they talked about that. They told people not to mod for a while because of an exploit they found. And I don't know if that's related to this, but like the source code can be dangerous in the right hands.
Yeah.
And the fact that, they had this hack, that's something that their investors are going to look at. And it's going to be like, look, what are you guys do? Like, this again comes down on CD Projekt management. What are they doing? This is all the culmination of Cyberpunk. And it's just like now, you're finally kind of starting to gain some traction. You're gaining some distance. And it's like, okay, we can try and fix this. And then this fundamental thing goes horribly wrong where it's like you should be able to protect your data and you couldn't, And now that reflects poorly again on management. There's going to be a lot more people breathing down their necks, investors specifically. And at a certain point, you got to wonder if there's going to be a shakeup at the company now. Because obviously, at a certain point, the finger's going to get pointed. And if you're in the leadership, it's going to get pointed at you.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be.
If it happened to HalfGen, I would expect people to point it at me.
I don't know.
Why are you smiling?
Like, will they point it at you? Because it's like you really came and hacked the website of 4 people.
Well, yeah, and you know what? 3 of them are going to be like, what happened? And they're going to ask me. And I'm going to be like, I don't know.
I wouldn't ask what happened. I'd be like, okay, so let's fix it and keep it moving.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, at this point, it's just like that. It's like that Simpsons meme, just stop it. He's already dead.
Mm-hmm.
CD Projekt Red, they're already dead. Just leave them alone. They need some space. And then we get to what might be the most disappointing news of the week, coming from one Jason Schreier. So Electronic Arts has had a team of about 30 people working on redesigning Anthem in a way that will hopefully recover the game. And some of the stuff they have shown, as somebody who very much likes these games and as somebody who has, a begrudging respect for Anthem, having finished it and having put a lot of time into it, more than I expected to, I like Anthem in a weird way, and I've kind of come to, I wouldn't say respect what's broken about it, but I've adapted myself to it. I don't hate Anthem like I used to. That pain is gone, and I kind of just appreciate what is good about Anthem. And so every time they talk about the future of Anthem, I get a little more excited because I'm like, hey, I really feel like this team wants to fix Anthem. And the way they talk about it, the way they show the new character screens and stuff like that, that's coming from a place of a team that seems to know what they're talking about, who's finally looking at their contemporaries. They're looking at the Divisions. They're looking at the Destinies. And they're like, hey, we can do that stuff. Like they had a system that sounds a lot like the fragments and aspects that are in Beyond Light right now. That was one of their prototypes. And it's like, on one hand, if you had just released the game like that, Anthem could have been incredible. But they didn't. And there's no taking that back. But if this could be huge if they take the time to invest in it and make it right. I think Anthem could earn a second shot, and I think Anthem could do a lot of good with it. And I think, we could use another good one of these games because there's not a lot of them. And it sounds like this week is going to be the week where that decision is made. So according to Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, Electronic Arts is going to hold a meeting this week to determine whether it will continue trying to create a new version of Anthem or if they're going to cut their losses and walk away. I think I know what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how EA can justify continuing to invest money, because the thing is they would need to hold on, I'm trying to find the part in the story. Sorry, give me 1 second. So people familiar with the project said it will need to expand to at least triple in order to, and again, this is a team of about 30. It needs to be a team of about 90 in order to produce new content and to continue to attempt to overhaul the game. So they need to triple their headcount. Mm-hmm. So EA is going to commit 60 more developers to this, all the money that goes along with that. And I think there's the benefit to their image that comes from fixing this and making this right, of being able to say, hey, you know what? We're going to do right by Anthem and the people who like Anthem. And then there's that credibility that comes with, look at Star Wars Battlefront 2, perfect example. Had a disastrous launch. They have turned that game into something people genuinely like and want to play. Like, that game is popular.
Yeah.
You know?
And a big launch on the Epic Games Store the other day.
Yeah, they gave it away for free and it got a ton of players. A bunch of my friends play it now, and I'm not particularly interested in jumping into that game at this point, but they keep bugging me to play it.
Same.
And it's like, I'm not interested, but that's really cool that game is doing so well now. So it's like, it's crazy that they could potentially do the same thing with Anthem, and then that doesn't forgive what EA did, but that shows that EA is committed to doing right by their players and their buyers, their consumers. Mm-hmm. And that would be huge.
I feel like, especially with Battlefront and LucasArts, EA is really trying to be like, hey, we're a competent studio that is deserving of having the rights to Disney to continue developing. Look, we fixed this. We know we had a rocky launch, but we can put out a competent product, and we deserve the chance to make more of these.
Yeah, the problem, though, for Anthem is it's a one-off game.
It's not
that doesn't have the license.
Anything with success, it's like it just came and was dead on arrival.
I think, honest to God, Andrew Wilson walks in that room, says, okay, how much will this cost? No, we're just going to drop it. They're probably looking at the player count, and they're probably like, okay, there's less than, there's probably like, 1,000 people logging in, if that, every month. Because there are still people playing Anthem. It's crazy. Every time I go on there. The last time I remember I streamed it, a bunch of people watched. Like, that community is still there and still passionate about that game. There's still people on the leaderboards running this stuff every month. And so, like, there are people still committed to Anthem the way that someone like me is committed to Destiny. And I think those people deserve the proper vision of Anthem. But I think EA is going to look at the money that's required, and they're going to be like, we can't justify it. It's easier to walk away and bury Anthem under a pile of Mass Effect.
Like, what else can they do with that same resources and money? You know what I mean?
I think the benefit to their image outweighs the cost. And Andrew Wilson has already said in the past, it's not an issue of money, it's an issue of doing right by them. That's not a direct quote, but he said that, it's something that they had to do. They had to fix the game. Mm-hmm. I think cutting and running at this point is dirty, and it will only hurt their reputation more, because even the people who don't care about Anthem anymore, you're reminding them now. The moment the story breaks, EA abandons Anthem. You're just reminding people, oh, right, not only did you release that game that wasn't ready, you abandoned it after you said you would fix it. And you've got BioWare, who have announced 3 games now with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Dragon Age 4, and a new Mass Effect, and haven't released anything since Andromeda, and or not haven't released anything since Anthem, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And now how does that help their reputation? When you're just gonna cut and run, you have no faith in them fixing. That just shows that you have no faith in them fixing it. Who's gonna buy their new games? Mm-hmm. Who's gonna run out and buy Dragon Age when it's like EA won't even let them try and fix this game? They don't think they can do it. To me, that is like the worst thing you could possibly do right now when you're trying to convince the world that BioWare is still BioWare. You have to. You have a commitment to put the resources because you're making enough money. They're making a goddamn enough money on FIFA. FIFA could pay for Anthem, probably, just on the Ultimate Team.
1 day of booster packs.
1 day of booster packs. You feed a team for a year, for just one Madden Ultimate Team pack a day, you can feed the entire Anthem team for a whole year. It's crazy. And it just feels bad to think about them just walking away from this. And I feel like that's the only option in their eyes because they don't want to spend more money on it. Even though, realistically, I don't think this is a genre. I don't think the shared world shooter genre, or the MMO shooter, the space or the games as a service shooter. The space occupied by Destiny and the Division and stuff like that. I don't think that is necessarily a growth market. I think that's kind of peaked. But the thing is, you've got a vocal community that feels, wronged by Bungie. You have a vocal community that feels wronged by Ubisoft. And there's this market of people who want to play these games. And Anthem has an opportunity to take a good chunk of that pie. And one thing that has been proven through games like Destiny, they're going on year 4. 7 years the game has been out almost. They're on year 4 of the second game. They're making a ton of money on it because they keep supporting it with more content. So Bungie's clearly making money, There's opportunity there to make that cost back by making a good one of these games because people will play it. If you make a good one of those games, people will flock to it, people will play it, and people will invest their money into it. Make it free to play and just be like, charge for new javelins, whatever, Make your money how you have to make it. But let people play Anthem, and the people who own Anthem just be like, hey, you know what? We're going to reward you guys because you believed in us from the start. Give people a reason, and then that turns around EA's reputation of like, holy shit, what if they go from making one of the worst of one of those and then they turn it into one of the best? And I'm not saying that's what they would do. There's no guarantee that whatever they do to Anthem would do that. But to me, like, what if they make this incredible? What if they capture that BioWare magic again and they make a really good one of those? I would play the hell out of Anthem. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think that genre of game is for me.
So. We already know that.
Nobody has put out one that I felt was worth the time, so.
Yeah, and that's exactly my point. Is that market is not necessarily going to grow much more than it has. But outside of like maybe free to play, but maybe that's the direction they take Anthem, I think that there is a hungry market of people who want that type of game, and for people like, Destiny players, maybe they want to have one for when Destiny's having a downtime. That was one of the nice things when I was playing Anthem was during Season of the Worthy last year, where Destiny just had almost nothing going on, and I played a lot of Anthem, and it was great. I had a good time. So, maybe that's the secret sauce. I don't know. I just think it's really disappointing that we're not going to get to see the fruits of the labor of these people who have been working to actually make Anthem the game people still believe it can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just always a shame when stuff like that happens. At least to me it is.
I'm not invested in Anthem at all. I don't want to sound disinterested, but it's like I hope they can fix it for the people who enjoy the game. But it would also be shitty to abandon it. But I also feel like at this point, everybody who has it is like they've kind of washed their hands with it. It's been so long, so I don't know. I don't know if like fixing it will definitely help, but I don't know if abandoning it is like the people who are gonna hate them are gonna hate them no matter what at this point. You know what I mean? Even if they do fix it, they're gonna complain that it was broken for the first 3 years of its lifespan. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
get you.
I think it's interesting either way. I mean, if they want to do good on the consumer, I feel like fixing it is the option. But
I feel like
I
that's a
can also
good.
see them abandoning it.
I think
Very.
that's a better investment for their money than what they're currently doing with it, because whatever they're currently doing with it isn't working either for their reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anthem is a good project for them, just to be like, hey, you know what? This is how we gain some clout.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fix Anthem. Because then, even if it doesn't work at that point, at least they can say, hey, you know what? We tried. And then if at that point it doesn't work, then they wash their hands. At least they put the effort in. It worked for Bungie. It worked for The Division. All of these games have stumbled. And the ones that survive are the ones that make it right. So if they take the time and they make the investment to make it right, historically, players have sided with the game, Players appreciate the effort, especially in this genre. This is a very vocal, fandom of this genre of games. They like them a lot. They want to go around and shoot stuff with their friends and get lots of loot. So do right by them, EA. Don't let Anthem go. I think we need to let this episode go, though. Don't give me that look.
I just realized I have a bunch of tangled hair back here, which makes sense, but it's kind of annoying because now I gotta go detangle it.
Oh man.
Which is why I'm kind of annoyed because my hands have been up so long; they're kind of hurting. But I'm trying to detangle it little by little with my fingers because that's always the best to do. Finger detangle it first, and then move in with the detangler.
Move in with the detangler.
Mm-hmm. It's a special kind of brush that's
I know,
split up and stuff that's made to purposely detangle hair without being too rough and ripping them apart.
Fair enough. Nat, as always, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody listening. I appreciate everybody watching. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I don't really have much else to say. Check out the site. You give me a look. Did you have something to say?
I was gonna give them a one over with how long my hair is and stuff. I think you could see that it's kind of all over the place. Like certain parts are split and patted down and stuff.
It's very fluffy.
Place right now, but
it looks very fluffy.
Because I know people are gonna be like, I should just. Can you see the back of my head?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
I know people were like, he's been messing with his hair this whole time and hasn't even shown the back of it. So I was like, let me at least do that for them.
The audio listeners are learning that for the first time. They're just like, he's been doing it the whole time?
Yeah.
If you ever hear Nat leaned back away from his mic, he's probably playing with his hair.
Yeah, no.
But
this nice rolled arm made it easier, so I pulled it like this before, and they could hear me from back here, all the way back here.
I have a Thrawn Max. I really like it.
Mm.
That's who makes my arm.
Mm.
I like it. It's a big, sturdy boy.
Yeah, this is a big sturdy boy as well. Probably overkill for this mic, but I thought I was really doing something when I got this set up.
You are. All right, guys. Thank you as always for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Wow.